What's going on, everybody? My name is Connor,
And my name is Matt.
and this is Discography Draft. All right, first timer, huh?
Yeah.
So let me give you a quick rundown of what this show, podcast, if you will, even is, and how it came to be. So Matt and I have a deep appreciation for music. I would say hip hop first and foremost. And so basically we were thinking about like, okay, let's do some show where we're talking about the artists and the albums that really had a lasting impact on us. And so one day I was taking a walk, as I often do, and I was listening to Lil Wayne, and I was thinking about the Carter 3 and the Carter 4 and how, if you could compare them to basketball rosters, like on 2K, what that would look like. And I sent a voice message to Matt, and I was like, hey, here's my thoughts on this. Basically, I think the Carter 3 is like, you might have, like, if each song were a player, their 2K stats would be, you might have someone who's on the Carter 3, a 96 overall, a 93 overall, an 89, someone who's like low 80s, and then I think the rest are like mid 70s, maybe you got a high 70 in there. Whereas the Carter 4, I think your best player is probably like 93. You got another guy who's 90, and then quite a few players in the low 80s, and then the rest are mid 70s role players. And I was thinking, like, okay, I think most people are going to think the Carter 3 is superior, and we're going to look into Wikipedia to see what critics had to say about these releases of these albums and which is more critically acclaimed. But personally, I think the Carter 4 is better. What would you say?
Hands down. I think that's a hot take that it really needs to kind of be debunked. Carter 4, hands down, replay value, get into that. But yeah.
Yeah, and so I kind of compared them, if you're a basketball fan. The Carter 3, I think, is the 2011 Miami Heat, and the Carter 4 is the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. That was the finals matchup. You go into it, you got LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. That's your Carter 3, and you're like, well, these guys are gonna mop the floor with the Mavs. But there's something about the Mavs. They just had a more cohesive team. They had, I would say, better role players. They're complete. They had a more flattened curve, to use a 2020 term, where the extremes weren't that far from the middle.
And don't forget who the Mavs went through in the playoffs. They went through prime Kobe. They went through the prime OKC team.
They did.
I know I'm missing someone else in there, and I guess the Heat too. But yeah,
Went through the Heat. So let's get into this. So the Carter 3, 6th studio album by Lil Wayne, released on June 10th, 2008. In my mind, this came out in 2007, but the more I think about it, 2008 sounds right. Some of the singles, first one was Lollipop. That was March 13th, 2008. So that was like, what? Several months before the album even came out. A Millie, Got Money, Mr. Carter, Mrs. Officer. Let's see with critical reception. All right. Metacritic gave it 84 out of 100. That's pretty high. And I think a lot of this had to do with, if you'll remember, the Carter 2 came out in like 2006, something like that. And then after that, everyone was like, Wayne was hitting his prime in my mind. He started, then it's like they're building up this hype for the Carter 3, but then a couple years are going by and he's just releasing mixtape after mixtape. And it's like the mixtapes are awesome, but where's the Carter 3? And I think the anticipation for the album, in addition, I mean, the songs are good, but that really played a role in getting an 84 out of 100.
And, well, also the impact it had. It did, I guess you could say, to be punny, a milli in a week in terms of sales.
It did. Yeah, I mean, I'll allow the pun. So some of the awards. It sold 1 million copies in its first week. It sold 2.88 million copies by the end of 2008.
Wow.
And then you had nominated for Album of the Year in the 2009 Grammys, won Best Rap Album, Lollipop won Best Rap Song, and a Milli won Best Rap Solo Performance. The album has been certified 6 times platinum. That's pretty impressive. Let's see what the Carter 4 has. Released on August 29th, 2011. Three years after the Carter 3.
I think that's his birthday, too. Or I know it's in August or September, something like that. But
I'm going to click on Lil Wayne. September 27th, 1982.
The month ahead.
Yeah. So some of the songs on here. First single was 6 Foot 7 Foot, released December 16th, 2010. I mean, 8 months before the album. John, How to Love, She Will, It's Good, Mirror. Okay, let's see. Critical reception. How about we do this? What do you think Metacritic gave the Carter 4?
If it's anything below an 84, I'm disappointed. We're gonna go. We'll take a 78, just based on the public opinion. 78.
60.
Oh my.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a D- in my years of schooling. I think that's a problem, and I think it's just wrong. So,
who in their right mind would give this a 60? That's absurd to me. You talk about replay value. What makes something great is its replay value. Can you play it again and again and again without ever getting tired of it? And if you can do that, or watch a movie and watch it over and over again without getting tired of it, I think that's what makes something great. It's replay value. And when I go back and look at the songs I'm playing consistently, it's Carter 4 without getting tired of it.
Let me read you this. Under the critical reception tab of Wikipedia, the Carter 4 received generally mixed reviews. They left that out from critics, with many viewing it as a disappointment. Whew. Okay. Robert Christgau wrote in the Barnes & Noble Review that the record, quote, has its moments, but its stunted sense of play is summed up by the T-Pain aided How to Hate. Chicago Tribune writer Greg Kot viewed that Wayne, quote, sounds slower, more methodical, less unhinged, end quote, and felt that he is held back by, quote, repetitive subject matter. Even Wayne sounds bored by trying to flip yet one more clever couplet about blunts and hoes, end quote.
I think he had the methodical piece right. You being a 5 on the Enneagram, and one of the few people I can relate to in that, and just an appreciation for words and the rhyme schemes, and the puns. I think that it is polluted, if you will, in the Carter 4, and I don't think you get this much of that in the Carter 3. So distasteful, honestly. Whoever was writing that.
Yep. It sold 964,000 copies in the first week. Generally mixed reviews. You hate to see it. So, where were you at in your life when these two albums came out? Let's start with the Carter 3.
Carter 3. So, going into 8th grade.
August 2008.
Yes.
Remember.
And I remember, so at this point in my life, yes, I kept getting clear. Like, I had to go to my dad every time if I wanted to get a song off iTunes. So I wasn't able to really be exposed into Wayne until I got into high school. But I remember the first time, like, listening to it was freshman year. Once I actually learned the back end of YouTube to MP3 converter, game changer. Really honestly just downhill for
Living-
my life after that.
Living life on the edge.
Yeah, explicit content. Don't know how to deal with it at a young age. Yeah, really corrupting, but all in great ways because it's Lil Wayne. But yes, I remember doing actually with Kevin Will in Geometry Honors.
Shout out to Kevin Will, who, I mean, if you're listening, and we know you are, shout out to you.
Doughboy Cookies. Yeah, I remember doing Lil Wayne trivia with him in freshman year Geometry Honors, and that's where really got into Lil Wayne right there.
Yeah, so, sorry, I misspoke earlier. June 2008.
Yeah.
Carter 4 was August 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Carter 3 for me, so June 2008, I was going into junior year of high school. And I remember, so all of like 2006 range, when Lil Wayne's cranking out these mixtapes, 06, 07, I'm in 8th grade. There was a friend of mine who was from New Orleans.
504.
Couldn't stop talking about Lil Wayne. And I think that was around the time I'm like, let me give this guy a listen. Because I have my oldest brother, he had like the Carter album and the 500 Degrees, The Block is Hot, Hot Boys. So those were, I think, a little before my time. The Carter, you could see a different sound in Lil Wayne once he comes up with the Carter. And so, yeah, I just remember being all about the mixtapes and thinking to myself, when the heck is this album coming out? Because it felt like it was like he delayed it by like 2 years. He started recording it in 2006 and it didn't drop until summer of 08.
Yeah, because there was a ton of leaks or potential leaks with Carter 3. I remember seeing that. But yeah, and the same thing almost happened with Carter 4 too, and how these albums keep getting pushed back and back.
Well, Carter 4, he had some prison time.
Yeah.
Thrown in there. We won't divulge that, but yeah, 2008, formative years. I would say 5 months after this album comes out is when I get my first car. So I start to drive to school. I'm listening to Lil Wayne and Kanye, and like that's it. It was a nice time. You know, just bumping some Lil Wayne at 6:45 in the morning, and it's pitch black out, and you're driving to school.
Threaten me with a good time.
I'll say. All right, Carter 4, August 2011. Where are you at?
Yeah, so going into 11th grade, junior year of high school, I can vividly remember as soon as this thing was released, I had finally been on the Wayne. I was a Wayne stan, as you would.
I would.
And I remember doing a push, AP US history homework, writing these one-pagers and just on repeat Carter 4 and thinking this was one of the greatest things that have ever landed in my ears.
Landed in my ears.
Yeah, it was literally from out of this world. You know, he's a Martian and all, so.
We are not the same.
No, we're not.
So August 2011 for me was going into sophomore year of college. Honestly, for me, sophomore year of college, when I think about that, I think about the Carter 4. I'm listening to this all the time. John comes out. Whoo, boy, Rick Ross. He just come out with BMF. Big Meech. Oh, Larry Hoover. Wow, take me back. And I'm just coming off of doing a summer. I was coming off of doing Calculus 2 back home in Sarasota at Sarasota
Shout out.
Manatee Community College, or whatever it's called. It's changed its name. And I remember, so I think John and 6 Foot 7 Foot had come out by that point. The Carter 4 had not yet come out. That was like a month after that. And I remember listening to John and 6 Foot 7 Foot on the way to Calc 2, on the way back from Calc 2. It just had a hold of my life. And really, it was good. What?
Don't undersell it.
Don't undersell it.
It was fantastic.
There you go. Why do you like these albums?
Man, I feel like this was really when I was starting to grow or have an appreciation for music, and I think it's actually been very formative of, you know me, I'm a big pun guy. Big pun guy.
And we don't mean the rapper, rest in peace, Big Pun.
No, sorry. But we yeah, big pun guy, love it. A lot of things, even with the last name. But Wayne, I think, played a big part in shaping that and the way I think of words and yeah, how can you make a play on them? I know you have an appreciation for that too, but both of them, and honestly, it just feels so natural. Both albums, he just hops on. Cadence is so different from song to song. He's so versatile. You've got slow songs, hype songs. I think that's what makes an artist really great is versatility, and he's got both of the it's littered on both albums. So yeah, I love them.
Yeah, I think it just a lot of it has to do with like Carter 3, 16 years old. You're coming into your own. Like I said, I'm getting my car. It's kind of synonymous with that whole era where you're starting to think about what you want to do with your life.
Yeah, what you thinking about? What you think about doing at 16?
Shoot, got money. Let me tell you what. I'm thinking about
throwing bands in the club at 16. Can't even get in.
I remember Lollipop came out, and it was something about like the. I was like, oh, I ain't never heard nothing like this before. It was just so the sound. Yeah, okay, yeah, like I said, the Car 3, it's the anticipation up for it. You're getting all these mixtapes, and then the Car 3 finally drops, and you're like, nice, we're finally here. But yeah, like you were saying, just the wordsmithing, if you will, and just Lil Wayne's ability to just come up with things that you're just like, I don't even know how does your mind go that way to where you're able to come up with some of these lyrics?
Causing us to throw Facebook statuses that we may come to regret. I know I've put on there, eat her till she cry, call it wine and dine. I threw that. Maybe I have to go back and edit that. But we'll fix it in post, right?
Sure, we'll fix it in post. But yeah, I mean, even a little foreshadowing of this show was a few days ago was the 10-year anniversary of you posting "She Will" or something like that on your Facebook status. Hey, shout out Facebook! What a time that was. How has your view of these albums changed since the first time you heard them? Have they aged well? Has one aged more well than the other?
Yeah, I feel like I've almost taken the popular opinion of the Carter 3 of like, oh, this is his greatest album, greatest piece of work he's ever put out. I think that has changed, and the more and more I listen to the Carter 4, I think it's affirmed that these maybe initial feelings of like, gosh, this is his greatest piece of work, but it's not a popular opinion. I think, I just find myself doing that. Carter 3 hasn't aged as well, but doesn't mean it's still not great. Because I will occasionally go back and I just hate it when people overplay things, and that's actually turned me off from a lot of the songs. But yeah, it's been a fun little, I guess, preparing for this, going back and listening to both these. Incredible.
Yeah, for me too, I think the Carter 3, the way I think about this is that the songs that I really liked and didn't like back in 2008 when it came out are still the same songs today. Whereas the Carter 4, I find myself going back and listening to it and be like, why didn't I like this song the first time I heard it? Like there's like 3 songs like that that have just really grown on me with all the listens.
Could you tell us which ones those are?
We're about to. Hey, I just realized something. I didn't explain this at the beginning. It's freaking the whole point of the draft. Not the draft, Freudian slip, of the show is that we're going to be drafting songs from these 2 albums and creating our own roster. So we're going to be basically crafting a playlist. Each of us, here are the basic rules of the draft. Each of us is going to be drafting 10 songs. The entire pool of the draft is the Carter 3 and the Carter 4. Okay, there might be episodes in the future, not might be, there will be episodes in the future where we are going to look at an entire discography of an artist. So
sheesh.
I know. I've already been working on my overall Lil Wayne big board. And that's
You're gonna have to separate that from albums and mixtapes. You almost like there's just too much. Or expand it to 20 deep. But I'm.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing. We'll explain the rules when we get to that one. But for this one, how it's basically going to go, each of us will be drafting 10 songs from these two albums. We're going to flip a coin to decide who goes first. It's
virtually.
A virtual coin, not Bitcoin
No.
or Dogecoin. Shout out Dogecoin.
Dog E coin.
Dog E. Okay. And so we're going to be flipping a coin. Whoever wins the toss will decide if they want the first pick or the second pick. And this is going to be a snake draft. So if you have the first pick, you're not going to have the third pick. You're going to have the fourth and fifth pick. Mm-hmm. So it'd be, let's say I wanted the first pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down the line to 20. So that, and then at the end of it, we don't. Something important. We haven't seen each other's big boards. We may have a sense because we have talked about these two albums in the past, so we might have a sense of what songs that the other person really appreciates. But the point is that we are not drafting according to what we believe our favorite songs are. We're trying to draft to appease the masses. If you're just post these playlists online, who the general public is going to think has the better playlist out of these 10 songs that we're each taking.
For sure me.
We'll see about that. Hey, any questions before we do this?
Yeah, can we flip that coin?
We can flip that coin. Okay, and we're also going to have a 30-second shot clock per pick. I don't think it's going to take 30 seconds because we have the big board. We're probably just going to be sticking with it. And then at the end, we're going to have a brief discussion on any surprises where, according to my big board, I might have a song way down low that Matt has way up high that he drafts and just takes me by surprise. We're going to have that kind of discussion. So yeah, let's flip that coin. Flip that coin. Flip that coin.
Wait. Oh yeah.
I haven't done it yet. We'll say you can call it, and then I'll tell you if you got it or not.
All right.
There's so many options.
Hey, tails never fails.
Tails never fails. All right, we're flipping the coin. It's heads.
It only fails if it's heads. That's the only time it does fail.
It didn't want tails that time. That's it.
All right. Well, F me.
Okay, so let me consult with my counsel. I'll be taking the first pick.
All right, go. You got it.
Well, now hang on. Let me marinate in the moment. It's nice. You know what? Let me tell you something. Off the record. Don't listen at home. When it comes to 50-50 choices in my life, I tend to pick the wrong one. But thank God you picked it this time. Because if I picked it, I'm not getting it right.
Well, I would say that there are 6 clear top 6 songs to pick from. And I think that, it's just a matter of which ones go which way. So,
okay.
Yeah, lead us here. And we can start that shot clock.
All right, let me... With the first pick in the Discography draft, the Carter 3, the Carter 4 draft, Connor selects a Millie.
Thank God. All right. I'm also going to just start so I can see which... You keep up with yours. I'll keep up with mine.
Okay.
Second pick, I'm going to go with, in my first pick, She Will.
Ooh. Okay, hang on. Let me pick a color for you. I'll give you purple. Take you as a purple guy.
Something like that. Royalty.
Purple for the Carter 4.
All right.
All right. So that is the second pick.
Oh, third pick.
Third pick.
Gosh. Between two, what I want. Because I'm a big pun guy, we're gonna go with 6 foot, 7 foot. But we know what the fourth pick's gonna be.
By the way, I'm blown away by the picks. We'll discuss later. All right, this song must have had like off the field issues. There must have been like a failed drug test to make it fall this far. But with the fourth pick, I'm going to be taking Lollipop. And then
that was clearly the next pick.
And then with the fifth pick,
I know what you're picking. You're going with Mirror.
I'm going with How to Love.
Ooh, that was one I did not want. That was the one I told myself I was not going to pick. I refused to pick that song because of how much it got overplayed. All right. Yeah, I can rest easy with that. Whew. Thank God.
The Mind of Matt, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Well, I think the next two I'm going to go with. We're going to go with Mirror.
Okay.
I know
off the deluxe version of the Carter 4. It's something we should have pointed out. If this is actually a good, you're not on the clock for this, but let me give you a disclaimer. Deluxe versions of albums are in play. The songs from that album, if they added just like 3 bonus tracks that are not on the original one, so long as it's not like a live version of a song that's already on the normal album, you don't need to be drafting that. Also, like non-musical tracks, like skits and intros that don't, well, there's not really like a song per se, not draftable. Mirror featuring
Bruno. We're gonna go with Mr. Carter.
Okay.
I think that's one of the more underrated ones, but yeah.
Okay, that is the 7th pick, if my math doesn't fail me. Okay, so I gotta tell you, Matt, with this, what I'm about to pick, I'm gonna be securing my top 4 on my big board. With the 8th pick in the draft, I'm taking Got Money.
Yeah, I knew you were going there. You're such a big fan of that song.
Take it out your pocket and show it. With the 9th pick, give me John.
I knew you were going there. I knew it. Alrighty. I just don't know how you view that song. It's one of my favorites, but we'll see. We're going to go with President Carter. It's a slept-on song. And then what?
I didn't even put it in my top 20.
Oh, my goodness. You need to go back and re-listen to that.
I didn't even take the time to type it. It's not even on my Excel file.
That's a shame. We're going to go Blunt Blowin'.
Polo Draw Showin'. Okay.
Yeah, I've secured 6 out of my top 9.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was the 11th. Okay, so we're on the 12th pick?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the 12th pick. Oh, Matt. I'm fired up for my 13th pick. With the 12th pick, I will take Mrs. Officer.
I knew you were going there.
With the 13th pick, Nightmares of the Bottom.
Great song. I was just telling Connor right before this, the live version is a little bit better. I don't like his raspiness, but that is a song that is littered with, analogy, similes, wordplay, whatever you want to call it. Just he does a fantastic job in that song. All right.
14th pick.
14th. Give me a sec while I update the board now. So we are looking at. We're gonna go with three-peat.
Frick. Dang it. All right.
And
I mean, yeah, I didn't want that one anyway.
It'll be interesting how to play it out from here. Gosh, do I let it go? Do I let that one go? Let the beat build.
Okay. So that was the 15th pick. So with the 16th pick, I will be taking So Special featuring John Legend.
Mm-hmm.
And with the 17th pick, give me Comfortable.
Not even on it.
Oh, look at us. Surprising. By the way, I'm not surprised. I think that's a heavily slept on song.
I know. I was listening to it and I thought the same thing. I was to the point of no one. Well, not no one, but that's the hard part about I think this draft is like getting away from personal favorites and trying to do more mainstream ones. Yeah, because my favorites look very not terribly different, but I mean they're similar. But yeah. Well, with my last two picks.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go with How to Hate. T-Pain.
Okay.
Carter 4. I think that one's a slept on. I wanted to save it for the very end. And I think people would probably go with Phone Home here. Mega Man's a good option, but I'm going to go with It's Good.
Oh, I love that song.
It's Good with Drake and Jadakiss.
Mm-hmm. And
round it out.
And it samples the Alan Parsons Project.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. With the final pick of the Carter 3, the Carter 4 draft, I'll be taking Tie My Hands.
Not on here.
I didn't think it would be. It falls in the same realm as Comfortable. I think they're pretty similar songs where they're not going to knock your socks off. But it's just like it's just nice to listen to, and I almost associate them. They seem more like Carter 4 songs, like they belong there rather than the Carter 3.
Yeah. Another song I really like that I don't think many people will, just because the way he talks at the end and it becomes more and more, or we would just listen to Don't Get It.
Yeah.
The samples
It's like 9 minutes long, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like 4 minutes worth of music, but the samples on it are just unreal. I think he does a fantastic job on both albums sampling music. That's why. So I know you were kind of shocked with the President Carter one. I think the samples of even grabbing the voiceover from Inauguration. I think that's just incredible, and I have a real appreciation for being able to incorporate those types of things, but also put it to music. That's why that one was a little bit higher. She Will, I think, is just also a top, like that's probably a top 5 song all time for me. With it, just like it has never gotten old. It's littered with puns and I guess Will Smiths, if you would, not wordsmiths, but yeah.
Oh boy. It's got Drake on it. I mean, you can't go wrong.
It prime, both of them in their prime.
Yeah, 2011. Had Take Care come out then? Take Care came out in 2011.
It came out my junior year of high school, which is the same. It came out in this. It may have come out in 2012, the spring, or like at the very beginning of the year.
Okay.
Because I remember it being my junior year, but I remember it being a spring thing of like on the bus to a track meet and like listening to it. Like, dude, this is incredible.
Just a bunch of sad boys going to track. Okay, so to round out, let me summarize.
Yeah.
So here's my team. That's the first time seeing my big board. So I have a Millie And so as I read these, I'll also tell you where they were ranked on my big board. And there you go. My first pick was a Millie. That was number 1 on my big board. Second pick was Lollipop, number 2 on my big board. Third pick, How to Love, number 3 on my big board. Fourth pick, Got Money, number 4 on my big board. Fifth pick, John, number 7 on my big board. Sixth pick, Mrs. Officer, number 8. Seventh pick, Nightmares of the Bottom, number 10. Eighth pick, So Special, number 12. And then with the 9th and 10th pick, Comfortable and Tie My Hands, which were 14th and 15th. Undrafted from my big board was Mega Man at number 18.
Yeah. We had one She Will. I've got the little Spotify plays here too if you want.
Oh, that is interesting. I didn't even think about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can see the popularity.
Is that how many times you've listened to it?
Yeah, me personally.
145 million.
Yeah. So yeah, I went She Will at number 1. 6 Foot, 7 Foot was my number 2. A Million Lollipop, I think, are interchangeable at 3 and 4. And I probably like Lollipop better, but I think A Milli has the mass of the people, and they like that a little better. But Mirror, which surprised me that is his 4th most played song from the 2 albums.
It's because of Bruno, and it was like, I feel like this started to gain traction like well after the album had already come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great sad boy song, by
yes,
the way.
it is. Mr. Carter to me was number 6, and that was my 4th pick. You have Jay-Z, who, both of them are Carters.
I get it.
And the fact that it's Mr. Carter, well, which one's which? I don't know. It's both of them. And then also Jay-Z kills it. He Wayne kind of lets Jay-Z hold it for a little bit, and then before giving it back. But I think both. Yeah, just a very complete song. Blunt Blowin' is just a good, fun, hype song at number 7 on my board. I had John at 8, but he picked him. And then President Carter at 9, How to Hate, 12, 3-Pete, 14, Let the Beat Build at 15, and It's Good at 16. The ones that kind of were littered, but in my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 that were in my top 16 that didn't get picked were A Milli, Lollipop, John, Got Money, How to Love, and Mrs. Officer. But yeah, we're not going to show the. We don't have to.
We don't want to talk about that last one you got down there.
Uh-huh.
There was one. So when we were first toying with the notion of this podcast, we were thinking like, are we going to be drafting every song from both albums, to which Matt had the good idea of like, let's just do 10, which is good because that means neither of us had to take Pussy Monster.
Wait,
You can't spell?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Were there any surprises with where I drafted things? By the way, President Carter for me, I really hate the President Carter.
I think if he were to
it bothers me.
If he were to maybe not, I think that's a big thing with artists is like you can only do it a few times, like the number of times he says something, and I think that like that one really is not my favorite in terms of how long he does it. But if he were to cut that back, I think he would have gotten a lot more plays, because that's where I think it gets annoyed with people of the number of times. But I still love I'm a big samples guy, and that's where the President Carter, the Don't Get It, which would have been in there for sure. There's another one that we were just talking about too, but it was really the different samples. So yeah. I mean, Got Money is always it. I probably should have like.
Gets you fired up.
It does. I think that was one that I had a hard time moving it up. One, because I knew you loved that song, and two, because I think that was one of the main ones that got overplayed for me a while ago. So I haven't listened to it until we started getting back into the preparation for this and just, I don't know, re-listen to the album. So, yeah, that was really only, I mean, we have a very similar top 10, and I think that's, yeah, away from a few.
Right. I got to be honest with you. I thought you were going to take Nightmares of the Bottom early, and I ended up getting it.
I know. I do love that song. I think the first time I heard it was the live version, and like his voice is too raspy for me to like continually listen to it, even though it's lyrically it's probably one of my favorite songs of his. Yeah. And we were just listening to it right before this.
We were.
I absolutely, that probably has, out of all my Facebook statuses, that's probably the one where it comes from most, is Nightmares at the Bottom.
Let me throw a question, a curveball question. What do you think, out of our collective big board, what do you think the best song title is?
Mr. Carter.
Interesting.
Just because of like both of them.
Because it's
Yeah, I think
what about just like in a vacuum? Like if you knew nothing about who the song was by, if you're just looking at all the songs, you're saying, like, sign me up for this one. This sounds like I could really listen to this. I want to know what this is about.
Uh, 6 foot, 7 foot. I still don't really even understand that.
It's like that old, like the Jamaican song about tallying bananas.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like, Mr. Tallyman, tally me bananas. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch.
Oh my gosh. No, I did not know that. But
Well, you are the youngest man I know.
yeah. That's why I don't remember these albums. I was just born recently.
He was actually born. Yeah. Where were you at when these albums came out? I was not born.
In the womb.
I was well in the womb. I think for me, Nightmares at the Bottom is just like, honestly, I can get behind any song that has nightmare in the title.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have trigger words for certain song titles? Like, I know there might be some trigger artist where it's like, what I mean by that is like, say you're looking at a menu and you're going through the descriptions and you're like, oh, that has this like specific ingredient. That's my trigger. Like, I'm more interested now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like and I think the same thing like with the artist. Like, oh, when you see this artist, like you don't even care what the song is. Like you'll listen to it.
Yeah.
But for the song titles themselves, I actually agree with you. Nightmares is probably one of those trigger words where I'm like, okay, let's actually kind of curious.
And another one featuring Lil Wayne having to do with nightmares, See You in My Nightmares off of 808s and Heartbreak by Kanye West. Sign me up for that one too. Mine are all just like it's like a dark word, like nightmare, cold, heartless, that kind of stuff. It's just like, as a sad boy,
you got to be able to speak to the depth of what these words and like those are heavy words, and you got to be able to speak to them and like, can you convey this in the way that I maybe feel or think about it?
Yeah, I'll be the judge if this is a nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, trigger artists for me, they get me fired. I mean, if a new song comes out and The Weeknd's on it, I mean, put it in my ears. Tupac, great. Metallica, I mean, but at that point it's just like they just do their own stuff. They're not like featured. Kanye, shout out to Donda whenever that's dropping.
Give me someone that's not a big name right now. That is still like, all right, maybe you saw on your most recent release radar or New Music Friday.
You know what? For me though, I'm like someone who like, I have my artists and I just kind of stick with them. It's tough because I feel like a lot especially with like rap nowadays. Oh, XXX Tentacion all day. Give me that. But like rap nowadays, it's just like the mumble rap. It all just kind of sounds the same. Nothing's like blowing my mind. And it feels like, unless it's like a Weeknd song or something like that that's coming out, I mean, I can get behind that anytime. But it's like the songs. I feel like the songs that I have downloaded on my Spotify, if those were the only songs that I could ever listen to for the rest of my life, I'm perfectly content with that.
Actually, that would lead to a next great question. So, getting back to what I was saying about the replay value, if there was one song you could only listen to from both of these albums for the rest of your, like, you can't listen to any other on the album, there's only one you get. What is that one that never gets old?
It's How to Love, which is interesting because it's number 3 on my big board. But part of this is like I'm drafting based on what I think the masses are trying to hear, and I think like A Million Lollipop are more popular than How to Love. But How to Love, like when it comes on shuffle and you just hear the guitar, I'm like, I'm sitting back for 4.5 minutes or however long that song is, and then there's like that part because he throughout the song he's like really low, like, and then he gets to like, he's like, why am I popping bottles?
Yeah.
When he gets to that, I'm like, ooh, this is good. But yeah, How to Love, I'd say most replayability for me. Amelie, I think is the best song, but it's just I'm not trying to like hear it over and over again. But with How to Love, when it ends, I can fully just play it again.
That's interesting. I would be curious, and this is maybe another conversation for another day. But just even kind of thinking here, it seems like a good medium pace song, one that's like a little slower. I feel like no one can always do the hype songs unless I'm just crazy. But I feel like the ones that end up getting the most replay value, at least for me and maybe other people, but are like a little slower and can still be hype, I guess.
Yeah. So, but like with that, here's a question. This is great. They're just coming to me now. How to Love for me, it's like I can play that when I'm alone, when I'm like with the boys and we're just in a mood, or if like you're on a date and you're just driving your girlfriend or your fiance. Sure. You're just driving around. How Love comes on. It's like there's no need. Like if I'm driving around, if I just let my Spotify just go on shuffle and was just reckless with it, and anything popped up, like if I'm on a date and John comes on, I'm like, uh-oh. Let me get this out of here.
You said.
But I love John. But if How to Love comes on, come on.
It's good because it plays to the masses. Of like even your most basic or not even considered rap fan would still be like, oh, this is a good song. You know?
I agree.
And so that way, like people whose main genre of music, isn't rap, could easily listen to that. That's I think very important for a lot of the like plays to the popularity.
I agree. Any closing thoughts? By the way, I won this draft.
We'll let the people see.
Hey, so here's how we're gonna do this. We're going to, I suppose we'll check out. Hey, here's how you can find us. It's gonna be good. First of all, Corner Time Network on YouTube. That's the YouTube channel, Corner Time Network. On Instagram at Corner Time Network. My handle at Connor Salas, CONNORSALAS.
Is this Instagram?
Handle? Yeah.
Skywalker. So it's SKYWALKA_1.
Yep. That's where you can find us. So we're going to be posting both of these rosters before this video drops, because we don't want like biases of like, oh, I just love Matt, so I'm going to vote for his just to make sure he wins.
I think more people would vote in spite of me. Against me, yeah.
You'd be surprised. So I think what we're going to do is on the Corner Time Network Instagram page, we're going to be posting like roster A. We'll post one of these. Roster B will post the other one, and then we'll put a little poll out and say which of these two wins the draft, roster A or roster B. And then we'll reveal the winner on the next episode from the winner from the previous episode. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's all I got. You got anything else?
Just shout out to 901. They got the purest and cleanest water out there. Tap water, that is. Always Ching's, too.
For those who aren't in the know, the 901 is what?
Memphis, yeah.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis.
Hey, did you know that Cameron Payne of the NBA runner-ups Phoenix Suns played basketball in Memphis?
Yeah, I did. He actually went to the same high school Marc Gasol did.
Marc Gasol of
the Lakers, right as of right now. We'll see what happens in the contracts and stuff.
Okay.
But the Lakers as of right now, but formerly the Grizzlies and the Raptors.
Hey, shout out Marc Gasol and
Big Spain.
Big Spain. If you're listening, and we know you are, shout out Marc Gasol
And TA, first team all D, baby.
That's a wrap. Thanks for listening.
Cut.